Pure flavor perfection. And that's not all. The snack box combos are here. Your pizza boy's favorite pack to the ultimate munch box. Don't forget our daily lunch specials. Delicious, quick, and wallet friendly.
Send the link.
Pizza Boys. Taste that hits different. Pizza Boys. Bring your va-va boom to your slice of life. Find your nearest Pizza Boys near you. Pizza Boys. We don't cut corners.
As school opens, School Matters in partnership with Save Hyper and Radio Al Ansar is calling you to help a child step into the new year with confidence. We're collecting school uniforms and school shoes, new or gently used, to support learners in need. Drop off your donations at Save Hyper 362 Victoria Road or at Radio Al Ansar 240 Ortman Road, Monday to Friday, 9:30 to 3 p.m. Let's come together, uplift our community, and make a real difference, one child at a time. School Matters, Save Hyper, and Radio Al Ansar, because education starts with dignity.
This and only this is Nightline. Nightline is the only program that allows you to listen to the opportunity to voice your opinion on any matter or any topic that concerns you. Also on Nightline, we interview the famous, the not so famous, and infamous. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Brother Muhammad Variawa, and with me in the studio is Dr. Anwar Jiwa. Join us every Saturday night from 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. on Nightline, the program designed especially for you, the listener.
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7, 365.
The views and opinions expressed by the guest and presenters of Radio Al Ansar are not necessarily the views and opinions of Radio Al Ansar and the Al Ansar Foundation.
Doctors and guests on the Medical Files program will help you with any medical problems you have by giving you advice on air. However, they do not have your full medical history and they have not seen you. Please verify the advice given to you on air with your doctor who knows you better. Neither the doctors nor Radio Al Ansar will be held responsible for any ill health caused by the advice given on Radio Al Ansar.
Up here. Someone help me carry this load. I don't wanna work with fear no more. I will never leave my prayer. I know that you're always there. For every door that you you'll guide me to many more. So many ways you show me your love. I'm thankful for all that you've done. Alhamdulillah, for all that I have, for all that I lose, it still leads to you. For the nights that I'm down, for all I need now, my face meets the ground. Alhamdulillah, for all that I have, you still pull me through. For the nights that I'm down, for all I need now, Alhamdulillah. على كل حال So many ways you show me your love. I'm thankful for all that you've done. For all that I have, for all you're
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to our listeners on this beautiful Saturday morning. Radio Al Star 90.4 and Peter Marisburg 105.6 FM. I'm Shabnam Ismail on the Peter Marisburg Pulse Show, capturing the heartbeat of our community. Listeners, we hope that you had a blessed holiday, alhamdulillah. And with schools back and routines kicking in, we're going to be diving into a new season. And today we are talking about hope and support with Cansa, the Cancer Association of South Africa. Cancer is all about making a difference in the lives of those affected by cancer, from screenings to support groups and awareness campaigns. And joining me is Lisa Strydom, National Manager for Care and Support at Cancer, sharing insights on cancer care and cancer's impactful work. So let's get talking. Lisa, welcome to the Peter Marisburg Pulse Show. It's great to have you here at our studio.
Thank you, Shabnam. It's great to be here.
Listeners, Lisa Strydom is the National Manager for Care and Support at Cancer, and with a strong background in social work from WITS and a master's in theology and development from UKZN, she brings 26 years of NGO experience to the table. Focused on community development, Lisa has worked with kids and also focuses on HIV/AIDS support and cancer care. She has made some impact in projects and has been with Cancer for 12 years, where she drives care and support initiatives. Beyond Cancer, Lisa serves as a board member for Tandhanani Children's Foundation and administers the Maurice Weber Trust, funding race relations projects in South Africa and Zimbabwe. Listeners, we're very fortunate to have her with us because a few months ago she was in Qatar and Oman with NGO projects, and she's going to tell us all about that. So, Lisa, tell us about Cancer's mission and work, and how was your trip abroad?
Wow, I must say it was amazing. I had never thought of going to the Middle East before, but I would now love to go back again. Those two countries are just incredible places to visit, and the people are amazing. And I just had such a fantastic opportunity with other colleagues from other NGOs, learning about cancer and what others are doing in Asia, Middle East, Africa, getting new ideas, developing new connections. It was amazing.
Being abroad and obviously coming back to South Africa, what would you say is one of the challenges or some of the challenges in South Africa?
In terms of cancer?
Yes.
Sure, I think there are many, and what I learned is that our challenges are not unique. Many countries are struggling with the same things. Problems such as late diagnosis of cancer, long waiting periods for treatment, lack of awareness of the causes of cancer, and lifestyle issues that people need to be changing. Lack of research or lack of funding for research. Many. It's complex. It's a very complex field.
And how does your organization support patients that's been diagnosed?
There are a range of ways that we do that. So we have a psychosocial support team, which is basically our social workers. And they're a very small team based all over the country. But given that we work in a virtual world these days, we can reach anybody, anywhere. So during COVID, we actually launched our telecounseling service, which is a free telephonic counseling service. We also do virtual sessions if people prefer that. And we offer that in 9 South African languages. We have numerous support groups, both virtual and in person. We also have medical equipment that people can hire if they are in need of things like wheelchairs, walkers, and so on. We have a clinical counselor who is able to provide telephonic counseling on any clinical issues that patients are having during their treatment. And then we have our care homes, which are what we call a home away from home, where patients can stay if they live far from the treatment centers where they receive treatment, especially when they're having radiation and they need to be in that particular town for, say, 3 to 6 weeks. They can then stay with us during that period, and we'll transport them to and from their treatment, give them meals, and take care of them while they're there.
I'm very excited because, as we discussed earlier, you're opening a care home in Peter Marisburg. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, we are indeed. We have recently purchased a property in Hayfields, and this week we started our renovations to get that up to the right standards to house our patients. We've actually had a lot of support from our volunteers have provided a lot of very supportive, and we've also got a big grant from the South African Muslim Charitable Trust towards those renovations. So once we're done, we'll be able to accommodate 12 patients at any one time, both public and private. And so watch this space. We've got a lot happening in Pietermaritzburg.
Alhamdulillah to your donors and sponsors, and definitely we will shadow you to see how far you achieve your goals and obviously support the community with such outreach programs. So what is one of the myths that you would like to eradicate regarding cancer?
Wow, there are many, and we deal with them on a daily basis because, with the internet being so readily available and anybody can post anything on the internet, people get all sorts of misinformation. So almost every day we see people posting things about grapefruit juice or, eating pineapple or cannabis can cure cancer, or, there are different things that come out every day. And in terms of that, what I'd really like to encourage people to do is just check the facts. Don't accept everything that you're told, because there's a lot of misinformation out there. And that causes people a lot of distress when they follow those type of cures and then find that they don't work. And then it's too late to, go for traditional treatment, which many times does work. Go to Cansa's website, check the information there. We've got lots of information on those type of myths. And you can also contact our help desk at any time if you have a question about whether something is true or not. Please check your facts.
So can you obviously highlight some tips to our listeners? How can they reduce or be smarter in preventing the risk of getting cancer?
Sure. So interestingly, only 10% of cancers are actually caused by genetic factors, which means that 90% are caused by lifestyle-related factors, which implies that we have some control over our choices and therefore our cancer risk. We can never say that, making healthy choices will eliminate your risk, but it will certainly lower your risk. And by healthy choices, we're talking about the things that we all know, but we don't do. So it's fighting against our human nature, but it's eating healthy, it's exercising, it's avoiding alcohol, which I'm sure the listeners wouldn't touch anyway. Then it's things like processed meats, things like polonies and Viennas. They're actually classed as a class 1 carcinogen, which means they are proven to cause cancer in humans. Red meat is a group 2 carcinogen. So there's evidence that it may cause cancer in humans, but it's not in the same class as the processed meat. So you want to limit or reduce or even eliminate those from your diet if you can. You want to eat the fruit and vegetables. You don't want to smoke because that, of course, is also that's a significant cause of cancer, is tobacco and second-hand smoke from tobacco.
That's really interesting, Lisa. Obviously, school going back and mummies want to go and probably get lunches made and, polony and hot dogs and those quick fixes. So listeners, please be mindful on healthy choices. And I do agree with you. What we intake can have a ripple effect on our immune system with not only cancer, but obviously other factors of health. In terms of early detection, can you tell us what starts and how does that journey start with your patient being diagnosed?
Yeah, early detection is so important. As I mentioned earlier, one of the big problems that we face in South Africa and internationally, not so much in the first world countries, but definitely in the third world, is late diagnosis. And that's for 2 reasons. Partly, people don't go for regular screening. Now, you can't screen for every type of cancer, but some cancers you can. And so going for those regular pap smears or breast checks or mammograms or PSA tests if you're a man, or getting the doctor to check your moles, those things can really assist with picking up problems early so that treatment is easier, because it's much easier to treat cancer at an early stage. The other thing is people are not aware of the symptoms of cancer. So they may have a problem that persists for months and months and months and they don't get it checked, and actually it's a symptom of cancer. So the advice we give to people is if you have a medical problem, if something is not right with your body, and we all know when our bodies are doing something that they weren't doing before, if it persists for more than 2 weeks and doesn't resolve on its own, you need to get some medical intervention to just check out what is going on there. And if the doctor gives you medication or whatever they do, and you finish the course of meds and it doesn't go away, don't just say, oh, well, it didn't work, the doctor didn't help me. Go back and ask, say the problem is still there, please, we need to sort this out. Because often when we see people that have just been diagnosed, it's been going on for 6 months, 8 months that they've been back and back and back to the doctor trying to find answers.
Early intervention helps to obviously prevent
Absolutely.
and probably help with cure. And at the same time, also give that patient that's been diagnosed probably a better and longer lifespan.
Absolutely.
Your organization has helped thousands and millions of people over the years. And I'm sure that maybe a success story is something that does stand out for you. Would you like to highlight maybe somebody that's really been a survivor that your organization has helped in the past?
Yeah, there are stories every day. There are so many I could share. Here in Maritzburg, about 2 years ago, we were doing a screening clinic, and we picked up that one of the ladies had a suspicious mole on her arm, which we suspected was melanoma. She went off, we referred her, she went off to the GP, he cut it out, tested it, and indeed it was melanoma and had been caught in time, and she didn't have to have any further intervention. So that is a success story with early detection. Then we have patients, this week I got a lovely email from somebody who lives in the Northern Cape and needed to travel to Cape Town for treatment, but was really stressed because they didn't know where they would stay. They couldn't afford to stay anywhere. And they found out about our care home through a relative and stayed with us for a couple of weeks, and were just so thrilled at the fact that they'd had somewhere to stay. They were talking about the care that they received and the love and the support from the staff and the other patients, and how that made their cancer journey just so much more bearable. And we hear stories like that often. So that really, it tells us that we're on the right track.
We want to remind our listeners that no one fights alone. The Cancer Organization and there's organizations out there that's there to hold your hand through the journey. And Lisa, obviously I'm an ambassador for cancer organizations as well. And I do believe that the mental support, the psychological side is so important, not only for the patient, but the families, because, they go for treatment. There's so much to deal with. So on the onset, if you have a good support group, that's very important. And speaking about support groups, do you have a support group in Pietermaritzburg that our listeners can attend or get involved?
Yes, we do. We have a very active support group in Northdale. It's called the Hope to Live Cancer Support Group. They meet every second week at the TPA Hall, and they are very involved with each other and with us as an organization, and really do provide fantastic support.
And as national manager, I'm assuming that you got your work cut out for you. How do you actually promote awareness so that the community is able to grasp on information?
We really use every avenue that's open to us. So, for example, we do radio talks like this one. We do TV talks. We do social media talks. We are on all the social media platforms. We post regular information and updates and interesting facts that people should know. We do talks in schools, in places of worship, in community groups, wherever we can. We put out press releases. We every month there's a new campaign that we are highlighting. And so we really just, the more times people hear the same information, the more chance there is that they'll actually take it to heart.
Listeners, we're going to share Lisa's details a bit later, but please get in touch with the organization should you have a wellness day at your workplace or at a school or at a community initiative. The little that we do does make a difference. Lisa, what's the link between lifestyle and cancer risk?
Yeah, it's very strong. Like I said earlier, about 90% of cancers are caused by lifestyle factors. And the latest article that I read said that about 30% of deaths from cancer could be prevented if certain lifestyle changes were made. So it's definitely, it's the diet, it's the exercise, it's everything that you put into or onto your body. It's what we breathe in even, So we don't have good research at the moment about things like air pollution But there do seem to be certain areas, certain factories where people are developing more of certain types of cancers because of what's in the air, and a lot more research is needed there. But and that's something we don't have control over as individuals. But wherever Cansa gets information about those type of things, we can advocate on a broader level for changes that makes the environment safer for the general public. But individuals can make their own decisions about what they eat, how they move their bodies, not just having a sedentary lifestyle. Those type of things, being safe in the sun, as you were mentioning earlier, those type of things really also significantly reduce our risk.
And I know the kids have just gone back to school. So mummies out there, please ensure that sunscreen is part of your regime for your learners out there. And the teachers and the educators remind the learners to stay hydrated and also be sun smart. Are there any specific cancers that Cansa focuses on?
We actually focus on all cancers. We don't have one particular one. But when we're doing awareness, we tend to focus on the top 10 in men and women because they are more prevalent. So just to mention a few, for example, in women, it's obviously breast and cervical. Colorectal is becoming more common in men and women, and uterine in women as well. And then in men, we're looking at prostate, lung, colorectal. Those are some of the most common ones as well.
Okay. And how can the public get more involved with your organization?
Oh, there are so many ways, but besides the obvious, donations, but we are a volunteer-driven organization, and we need especially cancer survivors who are willing to help us support others, educate others, run support groups, do talks. We will train them, we will support them, but we need them to assist us. We can always use more bodies.
So, learners, if you're looking for something to do in your spare time, please consider reaching out to Cansa. The little that you do, as we said, does make a difference. We're taking a short break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more insightful conversations about cancer care and support. We'll dive deeper into the complexities of cancer and explore ways to provide better care for those in need. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in a flash.
Radio Al-Ansar, 24/7, 365.
Welcome to Simplex Radio. Visit our showroom for the full range of car audio. Our TV department carries top brands with quality LED panels, full HD to Ultra HD, and now the experience of Super Ultra HD. Visit our theater rooms and transform your home with brands like Onkyo, Integra, Denon, Boston Acoustics, Yamaha, and more for quality audio visual experience. Now available, full range of home appliances. A one-stop shopping experience. Call 031-306-4029 or Kenilworth Park, 202 Brickhill Road, Overport. Simplex Radio, the name you can trust.
At Radio Al-Ansar, we value your feedback. If you have a broadcasting-related complaint, please send it in writing to the head of the complaints committee. Be sure to include your full name, contact details, a clear explanation of the complaint, and any supporting documents. You can email your complaint to feedback@alansar.org.za. That's feedback@alansar.org.za. Or visit our administrative office at 207 West Road, Overport, Durban. Your voice matters to us.
Get ready for Green Thumbs Up, the gardening and natural living show you didn't know you needed. I'm your host and life coach, Rabia Carvalho, and we're talking birds, bees, butterflies, and blooms, growing food in garden rooms, home-based holistic healing, and much more. Whether you're a seasoned gardener or nature lover, plant assassin, or permaculture professional, we got you. We got you. Let us bring you the ideas, the facts, support, and inspiration to go green wherever you are. Sundays 9 to 10 a.m. only on Radio Al-Ansar.
We'd love to meet you. Pay us a visit. Radio Al-Ansar.
You are listening to a live broadcast from Radio Al-Ansar, Pietermaritzburg, 105.6 FM.
Mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine. Mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine. Mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine. What's the greatest man that ever lived, yeah? Mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine. Mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine. Mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine, I'll be mine. What's the greatest man that ever lived, yeah? He's the one who taught me life. He taught me everything that I know. I thank Allah for my Nabi. Yeah. Everything that I do It's from the book of Sunnah that I follow each and every day. Yeah. See my bed, cause my prophet said so. I pray my Sunnah, cause my prophet said so. Love the Ummah, cause my prophet said so. Said so. I said so. Thank you, Allah, for our prophet. It's another the only riches that we need. This is real success, prophet with no interest. And it cannot be rest. Man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man. Man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man. Man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man. What's the greatest man that ever lived, yeah. Man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man. Man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man. Man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man, Nabi, man. What's the greatest man that ever lived, yeah. You are the one who teach me how to live my life. You show me the path to reach paradise.
Alaikum and welcome to the Pulse Show on Radio Al Ansar, Durban 90.4 MP to Marisburg 105.6 FM. Today we're talking cancer care and support with a special guest from Cansa, the Cancer Association of South Africa. I'm your host, Shabnam Ishmael, on the Pietermaritzburg Pulse Show, and joining me is Lisa Strydom, National Manager for Care and Support at Cansa. Lisa, welcome to the Pulse Show. Let's dive into Cansa's work and how they're making a difference. So, Elisa, can you tell us what kind of cancer screenings or resources is available to the public?
Sure. So most of our cancer care centers countrywide offer screening clinics, which we call affordable screening clinics. So we do charge a small fee, but much less than if you went to a specialist, for example. And there we do pap smears, we do clinical breast exams, we do PSA blood tests for men, and we do mole screening. So that covers some of the most common types of cancers. And if we pick up any abnormalities there, we will refer to, depending on whether the patient has medical aid or not, we will refer appropriately and give them a letter that they can take with them to get that abnormality followed up and checked out further.
And what's the benefit of actually having support groups for the public?
I think, cancer, although it's very well known and everybody knows the word cancer and is quite scared of the word cancer, unless you have actually been diagnosed with it, you don't really know what it's like to have cancer. So as much as you may have people who care and support, you during that time, really being able to speak to others who are experiencing the same physical and emotional and even spiritual distress that you are, and sharing tips and just walking that journey together is really important. We also find that a lot of our patients, once they've finished their treatment, will actually stay as members of the support groups, almost as mentors to others, and that provides hope. You mentioned hope earlier, to see that actually this is not necessarily the end, that my life can get back to some semblance of normal once this treatment is over. Although even adjusting to life after cancer treatment can be difficult. I think those of us who are not going through the treatment assume, okay, great, the treatment's over. Now we can all just get back to our normal lives. But that cancer patient never, ever feels like they felt before the cancer, not physically, not emotionally, and probably not spiritually either. And it's often quite difficult for people to get back to their so-called normal lives once their cancer treatment has ended. And so we even need to have support and support groups and counseling for people as they then try and build a new life for themselves after their cancer treatment.
Lisa, I've actually seen firsthand working in an acute sector. I've seen the oncologist visit the patient and disclose, you have cancer, this is your stage. And obviously the patient looks like a ghost, shocked and in blank. And the first thing that comes to mind is, I'm going to die. And I think that phase of getting people together to support them, not give them false hope, of course, but you're not alone. Support them, walk through the journey, walk through the treatment. The treatment's not easy,
No, it's not.
So there's side effects, there's time away from work, and you still need to see to their families. So in terms of support, there is quite a few alternate support groups. There is something called the Look Good Feel Better, I believe, in Pietermaritzburg, which there's a team in Gray's Hospital and in a local hospital. So please get in touch with me. I've got those details that I can share with cancer patients and the families. There's some great work being done in the province for cancer. And in terms of that, can you tell us in terms of the support groups how it supports the patients, Lisa, and how can it drive that pitch?
So mental health during a cancer diagnosis is extremely important. It's not talked about enough. I think, besides the fear, the shock, all of that, besides the physical unpleasantness of the treatment that you spoke about earlier, many of the patients that we work with experience significant anxiety and depression as a result of the cancer itself, the treatment, the situation they find themselves in, the financial stresses, the relationship stresses. What tends to happen is that any pre-existing problem, so whether it's a relationship problem within the family or a financial problem, or even a problem at work, for example, once there's a cancer diagnosis, that flares up and it just becomes so much worse. And so we have a lot of families that are falling apart at a time when they really need to be pulling together, and a lot of individuals who feel like they're falling apart. And so that's why it's so important for us to have a place where people can come, where others will understand and not judge them, to hear what are the difficulties you're experiencing. Okay, I experienced this too. This is how I coped, to share ideas, to share strategies, and for people to know that they're not crazy, they're not alone, they're not, they're not the only one going through this. It doesn't make it less horrible, but to just have somebody or a group with you that kind of know what you're going through is really important. And so there's two aspects to support groups. The one is that there's the face-to-face meetings, which, is wonderful, because just being able to chat and relax and do fun things together, not always doing serious things, that's really important for healing as well. But we find that our virtual support groups, which are both WhatsApp-based and Facebook-based, are very popular because they're available 24/7. So, although our social workers are on the groups as facilitators during working hours and also after hours, it can be 1:00 in the morning and you can't sleep because you're feeling terrible, you're stressed, you're anxious, you're worried about what's going to happen with your treatment, your family, your health and all of that. And you talk on the support group, and suddenly there are 3 others who are also awake and doing the same thing, and so you can just have somebody that is there with you through that literally dark moment. So you don't have to wait for the professionals to be available. You don't have to wait for working hours. There's somebody there. And that seems to be really the power that we've discovered in virtual support groups, because they are available all the time. So there's the human connection in terms of the face-to-face groups that, that literally person to person. But then there's also just knowing there's somebody else out there, whether they're on the other side of the country or next door, but somebody else understands.
And talking about advancement with technology, and you actually highlighted the WhatsApp groups and virtual, how do you keep up to date with modern technology and research with cancer?
We do have a research department within our organization, and they do research. Well, they collaborate with universities and other research organizations to do research on a whole variety of different aspects of cancer, from the causes of cancer to different types of cancer treatment to the best types of support even for cancer patients. It's a huge range of things. And through our research department, we are also plugged into a lot of international organizations and research bodies that, are always publishing the latest on cancer treatment and so on. And so our research people are sharing with us every week. There's new stuff coming out. Please be aware of this, or there's a new treatment for that, or a new screening for that, so that we're all kept up to date on that information.
And can you highlight and tell us a little bit about your cancer preventative programs?
So yeah, our cancer preventative programs they're two-pronged. So the one is to focus on lifestyle changes that people need to make in order to reduce their cancer risk. So what we spoke about before, it's the what you eat, it's what you drink, it's whether you put your sunscreen on or not, even whether you have safe sex, that's also part of it. Whether you smoke, all of those things. But then it's also about the screening and the early detection and awareness of the warning signs. So whether you go to your local clinic, to a cancer care center, or to your gynecologist, or to your GP, it is important to do those regular screenings. Nobody likes doing it. It's a hassle. It takes time out of your day when we're already busy. But I've heard lots of women say, "Oh, I don't want to go for my pap smear because it's so unpleasant." And then my response is, you know what's even more unpleasant? Chemotherapy. So think about it like that. You can have 5 minutes of unpleasantness having your pap smear, but it can really save you a lot of unpleasantness later. So we are human, all of us. We are not good at doing things that are good for us. And we are kind of lazy when it comes to looking after ourselves. But I think that the important thing is that we don't have to try and transform our entire lives overnight. So, we all know people who've tried to go on diets or start exercise programs. You start and then you're all good for the first day. And then by the second day, you've already got tired, or you've eaten the chocolate or whatever it is. We're not good at changing our behavior. But don't try and change it all at once. That's my advice, because if you try and take on too much, then you will fail and you'll be discouraged and you'll give up. So just one thing at a time, even if it means, let's say I'm going to eat one piece of fruit a day from now on, just one. Never mind that we're supposed to eat 5, but one, because that's more than I was eating before. And for 3 months, that's all I'm going to do, because by then it will have become a habit. And then you can add something else. Or I'm just going to take a walk around the block once a day with my dog or my child. Okay, it's a short walk. It's maybe not enough. It's maybe not getting my heart rate up enough. But it's okay. It's more than I was doing before, and it's better than sitting on the couch for that 10 minutes. So make small changes towards increasing your health, making your life, looking after your health, making yourself healthier. And that will make the changes more manageable. Do not try and completely revolutionize your family's eating plan in 1 week because you'll be exhausted and you'll give up. Just make small changes.
I fully agree with you, Lisa. And listeners, start a journal. Consistency is key. It's the start of a new year, and it's all about you and making a difference. The Pulse Show is about education. It's about making a difference. It's about touching hearts and making you lead a safe lifestyle. We're taking a short break with a soulful nasheed to uplift and inspire this Saturday morning. And when we return, we'll be back in conversation with Lisa Strydom, National Manager for Cancer Care and Support.
Listening to a live broadcast from Radio Al Ansar, Pietermaritzburg, 105.6 FM.
What could you say? Where could you go? If time stops, you are standing. There'll be a light space you never seen before. I'm trying to tell you what you already know. Have you ever been this bad and pray as you cry? When did you apologize or ask him to go? Now you're standing in this place, it's time to show all the things that you've done before and been wrong. Yeah, في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا ربنا آتينا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا. What could I say? What could I go? When you're the most high, the king of that day. Don't be standing on my wall, keep me from my wrongs, protect me. In your shades, don't let me slip away. Have you ever been this bad? Praying one that you apologize or asking to go. Now you're standing in this place, it's time to show all the things that you've done. Yeah, ربنا آتينا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا ربنا آتينا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا. It's you can save me. You can guide. You know how I feel. Know that this day is real. Forgive me, my Lord. ربنا آتينا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا ربنا آتينا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا.
Marisburg, get excited. New stock has just landed at Bawa Superstores. Bring the fun home with our amazing range of kids' rechargeable electric ride-on cars. From luxury Bugattis, tough Jeeps, to siren-ready police cars, the perfect ride for every little driver. Find it all at Bawa Superstore, 439 Victoria Road, Pietermaritzburg. Don't miss out. Everything you need is waiting for you at Bawa Superstore.
Every day, thousands go to bed hungry, but you can change that. With just 10 Rand, you can provide a loaf of bread. This bread is more than just a donation, it is a lifeline for so many families in need. Be part of the Al Ansar Outreach Slice of Life drive today. Call Outreach on 031 208 1601 and make a difference one loaf at a time.
Sunday Lounge with Salma Kazi Wahab. 10 to 12. Lated Nasheed, celebrity art teachers.
السلام عليكم اسمع زين حبيبي يا محمد أتيت بالسلام والهدى محمد.
Event, news from the Nasheed world, top 10 countdown. The Sunday Lounge with Salma Kazi Wahab.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من
Radio Al Ansar, 24/7, 365.
Doctors and guests on a Medical Files program will help you with any medical problems you have by giving you advice on air. However, they do not have your full medical history and they have not seen you. Please verify the advice given to you on air with your doctor who knows you better. Neither the doctors nor Radio Al Ansar will be held responsible for any ill health caused by the advice given on Radio Al Ansar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh on Radio Al Ansar 90.4 AM, Peter Marisburg 105.6 FM. If you've just tuned in, you're on the Peter Marisburg Pulse Show with myself, Shabnam Ismail. So welcome back, listeners. We are talking about cancer care and support with Lisa Strydom, the National Manager for Care and Support for Cancer. And with 26 years in the NGO sector, has a background with social work and theology. Lisa is here to share cancer's impactful work and cancer support initiatives. Lisa, welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
We're going to dive straight in, and we're going to actually answer a question that's come through during our break from one of our listeners. They wanted to know the impact on hookah and vaping, and does that have a ripple effect on cancer?
Yes, it's a huge problem. So hookahs and vaping are promoted as healthier alternatives to smoking. And they specifically target young people. That is their target market. And they make it seem fun and cool and sexy with the colors and the flavors and so on. The problem is, okay, so they don't have tobacco, which is, we know is definitely a type 1 carcinogen, but they have many other chemicals in them, some of which are also carcinogenic. They also contain, especially the vapes, contain nicotine, and we know that nicotine has a very negative effect on a developing brain. It can cause problems with tension, with memory, and various other things, behavior issues. And teenagers, and especially up to the age of 25, we're still developing the frontal lobe of our brain. And during that time, so many of our young people are vaping and filling their system with nicotine and other chemicals, which then is going to affect how their brain develops. And that will set a foundation for them for the rest of their lives. And as I said, the perception with hookahs is that the water filters out the harmful chemicals, but that is in fact not the case. That does not happen. And hookahs also have the risk of transmitting diseases like or viruses like HPV, which is the human papilloma virus, which it's a virus that causes, it's the one that causes most cervical cancers, but also other oral cancers. And, from sharing the hookah pipe, you are raising your risk of transferring those type of illnesses as well. So basically, neither vaping nor using hookahs is a good idea. Taking something into your lungs other than pure air is not a good idea.
And it's also poor hygiene. I see people congregating and they're sharing the pipe, and we need to be mindful of these things. And in terms of the corporate world, how can they adopt cancer programs and awareness for the employees?
We actually have a dedicated team that runs workplace wellness programs. So our nurses will go into corporates and they will do whatever the corporate wants them to do. They can tailor the packages appropriately, but we'll offer a range of services. So we can have an exhibition just with information available, or somebody to answer questions. We can offer talks for those corporates who have a lot of virtual workers. We even do virtual talks. We can do screening on site, so people don't have to take a lot of time off work to go for their regular screenings. They just need to go down the passage, get their screening done, and they're back at their desk in 10 minutes. So we really can, make it part of the culture. We have corporates that come back to us year after year after year, and the employees get their annual screening through the Cancer Workplace Program.
And to the moms and dads out there that's listening, how can they incorporate conversation with the kids and the youth to empower them to be more aware about cancer?
So with kids, the lifestyle factors are really important to educate them about. The healthy eating, the exercise, maintaining a healthy body weight, the not smoking, the not vaping, the no alcohol, those type of things are important so that, they develop those healthy habits as they get older. But also the sun protection is so important because the foundation for skin cancer is actually established by the age of 18. So if you have 2 or 3 severe sunburns before the age of 18, you significantly increase your risk of developing skin cancer later. So you really want those good habits and personal protective decisions and healthy lifestyle choices to be ingrained in kids right from a young age.
And speaking about diet, can you elaborate some of the positive decisions with our listeners? I mean, what can they do for the year to try and make the right choices?
Right. So you want to lots of water, fresh, clean water, fruits and vegetables, lots of them, fresh if possible, cooked only mildly if you cook them, because sometimes we cook them so much that we cook the life out of them and there's nothing good left. So just as close to raw as possible, just wash to get rid of the dirt or whatever else is on them. Reduce your red meat or even your meat in general, eating more plant-based foods and just limiting meat to small portions a couple of times a week. Exercising, maintain a healthy body weight, because obesity is strongly linked with a number of different types of cancers. So work on that body weight.
Speaking about diet, listeners, please diarize your calendars. There's a workshop in Pietermaritzburg on the 24th of January in conversation with Dr. Solomon, specialist physician, and Pranisha Dunarayan, dietitian. It's regarding diabetes and the right choices with diet just ahead of Ramadan. So you got to be there. Diarize the 24th of January, and it's locally at one of the local acute hospitals, Midlands Medical Center. So, Lisa, we're coming almost to the end of the show. And what's one thing you'd like listeners to take away?
I think be aware of your body. And any change that is taking place in your body, follow it up. But also take care of your body and make one decision that's going to move you closer towards having the health that you want for yourself in 2026.
And how can the listeners get in touch with you?
We have a website, which is www.cansa.org.za. That's CANSA. All our contact details are on there. We've got WhatsApp, telephone, email, you name it. They can use whichever, or through the socials. They can contact us, whatever is most suitable for them.
As we wrap up today's discussion on cancer care, we want to thank our guest, Lisa Strydom, for sharing her expertise and insights. Let's also take a moment to reflect on the importance of prioritizing mental health and seeking help when needed. Remember, healing is possible and support is available. To our listeners, shukran for tuning into today's episode of The Pulse Show. Healthy choices, brighter futures. That's our motto here. And we believe that taking care of your health is one of the most important investments you can make. For those of you traveling, don't forget to buckle up, stay hydrated, and stay alert. Jazakallah to our techs, both Durban, Pietermaritzburg, and Jazakallah for listening on. Assalamu alaikum. Until next Saturday, from myself, Shabnam Ismail.
You're listening to a live broadcast from Radio Al-Ansar, Pietermaritzburg, 105.6 FM.